Hello again! Teacher Caroline here. Thank you so much for joining me again. This is a companion video, part 2, 15 more things you might want to think about packing. I hope you find it useful. If you haven't seen the other video, just really quick again, I was an assistant in the Amiens region, so in the north of France, for 2 years, from 2017 through 2019. Year 2, there were new assistants coming in, and I personally really liked, showing them around, trying to give advice. I hope it was good advice. It might have been annoying advice. We'll see. There were so many wonderful memories I made over there, and so I just want to be here and be a good voice for you and really encourage you to see the positives in spite of how scary and difficult and overwhelming and just stupid it can be sometimes. There can be so much joy and just wonderful things. I'm starting to feel like Snow White, so screw it, let's just get to our list. Number 1 is a pop socket. These are little circles you stick on the back of your phone, and you're never going to drop your phone with this. I have never dropped my phone with this. And it's so nice if you're trying to take like a group photo, or maybe you're hiking, you're traveling and you need to get a good photo. I can't tell you how many times I was on a slippery slope or like reaching over a balcony, and I was never ever scared of that because I had this little sucker. I actually had a very unfortunate experience towards the end of my first year. It was in the Gare de Lyon. In the middle of the morning there was this really creepy guy, and I was passing through the, like in the metro when you put your ticket in and it's like a barricade, and the guy kept trying to pass with me. I kept telling him no, and long story short, he ends up forcing his way behind me, kind of grabbing me, and he ended up stealing my phone right out of my pocket, which really sucked. Now at the time, I mean it's whatever, but at the time I obviously was very angry, but I also couldn't help thinking, like, if I had had one of these it would have caught on my pocket and I would have known, and I could have turned around and slapped the guy. So not only is it security when you're taking a photo, it might just be security in general. Highly recommend. Number 2 is a USB drive. So I and my friends were a bit surprised because, well, for one thing, Google Docs isn't really a thing in France yet. Hopefully soon, we'll see. Everybody uses USB drives. If my teachers wanted a file or a presentation I did, they would always say, "Can I borrow your USB drive?" Like, okay, and I did bring some from home, but I never used them. It was on the rarest of occasions, but that being said, I still recommend it. I feel very lucky, even though I was in a smaller town. Basically every classroom had a computer, a projector, and internet, but not every school is like that. Some schools don't have internet or don't have computers in the classroom, so that might not be your situation, but at any rate, it's also nice to have a backup of important documents if you need to go print them out. I know if you go to La Poste, the post office in France, sorry if that was pretentious, but it's called La Poste when you go over there, you can upload your documents and print them out that way. I never did, but I had lots of friends who did it that way. I might have mentioned this in the last video, I don't remember, but my number 3 idea is prescriptions and or vitamins. If you need prescriptions, you don't often get those in a yearly dose. But just try, call your doctor ahead of time, explain that you're going to be out of town for a while, and hopefully they can make a good case for you. Maybe even have your parents vouch for you. I know that probably sounds a bit silly, but hate to say it, but sometimes that does help. Vitamins, I say maybe. This is kind of bulky, it's a bit heavy, and you might find you don't even really need them when you go over there because the food is just so nutrient rich and wonderful. Fun story about prescriptions, so I don't think she would mind me sharing this, and I'll keep it anonymous anyway. So I had a friend whose boyfriend was coming to visit her over the Christmas vacation, and before he came over, her parents and his parents and then the boyfriend all had a nice dinner together right before he went to the airport. And and my friend's mom said, "Oh, I have a present for Peppa, can you bring it along to her?" And he said, "Of course, it's wrapped up in all this nice, there's a nice ribbon and a name tag and everything." And fast forward to when he's in France and he goes, "Your mom wanted me to give this to you," and she's all excited and kind of glowy, and she opens it up and it's just loads of birth control pills, and she's so confused, and then she goes, "Oh yeah, She couldn't get her prescription in the yearly dose. The pharmacist refused that, unfortunately, so her mom had to send her some, but she thought, well, why not send it with the boyfriend? But also, this is an awkward thing when we're at Christmas dinner with his parents, like, here are my daughter's birth control pills. So we had a good laugh about that. I think she was confused. He was confused. He genuinely thought that was a gift, and I think he felt really bad, even though it was something really useful. She did need them, so we all had a good laugh. Number 4 is containers. So as you're packing, if you have anything fragile, maybe put it in like a lunch Tupperware or a Ziploc bag, something like that. Something you can reuse. Again, it's kind of a pain to have to buy this over in France. I actually brought my nice glass Tupperware that I got at Monoprix when I was there because that thing set me back like 15 euros and that kind of pissed me off, so I made sure I was using that every day and I brought it home, so now I can, like, what a stupid souvenir from France. It was just pettiness on my end. If you can afford it, put something else inside of it, protect that on the flight, and just bring a container. It'll be very useful to have once you get over there. Number 5, along the theme of food, if you like to cook and you're from North America, maybe bring some measuring spoons and measuring cups. They use a different system of measurement over there, and I completely advocate for trying French recipes and French measures, but sometimes it's just nice to use the recipes you know from home without having to convert everything all the time. Go to the dollar store. It's going to set you back $2. You'll be good to go. Number 6, along the same vein, there are certain foods that can be difficult to find over in France. Peanut butter is one, pumpkin is one if you want to make pumpkin pie. Although I heard wonderful stories of people who actually roasted pumpkin while over there, so I should have just tried that. The one thing that was always difficult for me to find, and I don't think I ever did find it, was yeast. France has just amazing bakeries, so people don't need to have yeast, I guess, but if you like making bread, just bring a couple of packets of that from home. Number 7 is tweezers and a nail clipper. There's no excuse, like, these things are so tiny and it's really gross to have to ask somebody to borrow theirs. So just bring these. Just bring them. Also in the beauty department, if there's something that just makes you feel great, bring it along. Especially if it's something for your hair. It can be a bit of a horrific hair situation once you get to France because there's lots of calcium in the water. Which means, I had a friend whose hair started falling out on her, which was really unfortunate. She was doing like hair masks and all that, but I'll make another video all about different tips and ideas, and hopefully that helps you out in case you run into any trouble. I, in year 2, brought this hair serum from Big Sexy Hair. It was what my stylist recommended. And it wasn't really expensive either. I think it was like under 10 bucks for this little bottle. This will just help smooth the frizz down, and it has a really nice scent to it. It just helps a lot. Make sure you have a good comb. That's gonna help in case you do have that gunk and nastiness in your hair. Another favorite thing I brought over was this Tahitian vanilla oil. You put it on after you take a shower. It helps moisturize everything, and it smells really, really good. It can be really easy for things like toiletries to go over on your luggage weight. And my advice, prioritize things like moisturizing, just keeping your skin healthy. I really got the impression when I was over there, and I've seen other people share the same opinion, that the French look is quite natural to begin with. So if you can cut down on a bit of makeup or products, by all means go for that. If it's hard to think of parting with your favorite products, think of it this way, you can always get them while you're over there, right? Like, one of my favorite finds in France was this body butter. As you can tell, I'm really savoring it now. Again, I wish I would have bought 10 more of these at least. Number 9, maybe this is a weird suggestion, but bring a snack. Just bring a tiny size something, hide it in your biggest suitcase. Depending on where you're living, it might be a little while before you can properly go out and grocery shop. So my first year in France, I arrived to the school a few days before the next assistant would be coming in. So like, I had a chance to go out and do a bit of grocery shopping. Obviously it wasn't anything great, but I think I got like some fruit and granola bars and different things like that. Obviously I ate the granola bars right away, but I had fruit left over. So my friend Tessa gets there, and I'm really excited to meet her because we've been talking on Facebook and whatever. The day she gets there, I message her when she gets to the airport, but then I don't hear from her basically all day. until maybe 3, 4 in the afternoon. There's this knock on my room on the door, and it's the landlady and Tessa's there and then another teacher. I thought that was nice of them. They let us introduce ourselves. I don't think they realized that we kind of knew each other already, but it was nice to actually finally meet her. So Tessa had arrived to France, if I remember correctly, it was in the morning. And then she got on the train, she came to Compiègne, she had an appointment with the landlady, all that. So fast forward about an hour and it's like 5 p.m.-ish, I want to say. And I get a message from Tessa like, hey, it was nice to finally meet you. And I go, oh my god, you too. If, I'm sure you're really tired right now, but if you want to hang out or anything, or if you need anything, I have some cleaner and paper towels if you want to wipe stuff down. I have some apples if you want some. And I remember she wrote me back, I'm way too tired to clean right now, but yes, I'll take an apple. And so she came up and knocked, and I think she took like 3. She was just so starved because, as it turns out, she hadn't eaten anything basically since 8 in the morning, and this is after a 7-hour flight, so just pack something in your bag. You can eat this guilt-free, you'll be just fine. Honestly, after lugging yourself and your bags across the ocean, I think you deserve a little treat, so just have one ready and don't feel guilty about taking it. Number 10, another weird suggestion, is string. It's so handy when you're packing, just press things down, secure them, whatever. But string is also really handy if you have something that breaks or things you want to keep together, you're carrying, whatever it may be. I had a friend who, all 3 years that she was in France, just used string and paper clips, and she would hang up pictures in her room. And it looked dynamite each time. I love that so much. So, very useful, also very pretty. Now, of course, if you have string, it might be handy to have scissors, although this is another reason to bring nail clippers again. That works just as fine. Number 12 is a tote bag. Before I left for France the first time, my grandma sent me this wonderful package with a t-shirt that had Minnesota on it, a book about Minnesota, and this lovely bag. And I just love it so much. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of portly. It's super cute. It looks like a teacher bag. And this was just so nice and useful. The first time I went grocery shopping, I had something cute versus my backpack, which... Plus, anytime I would carry this, I was reminded of her and of home, and it just made me really happy. I loved that bag so much that I bought one from France, so now when I go grocery shopping, I wear my pretty one from Compiègne. Number 13 goes under the category of stuff people asked to borrow from me, and that was a mouse. I found it really handy because I was doing online lessons through VIP Kid, and the few times my friends asked to borrow this because, they were working on their resume or whatever it may have been, they were doing presentations, and yeah, sometimes it's just convenient. These were a mistake, by the way. If you bring your snack, don't make them Cheetos. Number 14 is cuddle duds, or really any sort of clothes you can layer underneath. I never knew about cuddle duds until about 12 years ago when my mom was undergoing chemo treatments because she was cold all the time. My mom loved them so much when she was sick. She still wears them today, like she still gets really cold. They just keep you so warm and toasty. When I was over in France my first year, I found an amazing thrift store, and yeah, they had this huge bin of just different leggings because while I had brought some, I actually wish I would have brought more, so I ended up buying these bad boys, which I loved so much. And then year 2, I think I brought over these 2 pairs. What's really nice is that they're fleece lined, so they're extra warm on the inside. Like, oh yeah, that one's even better. If you're concerned like that's too much clothes, well, just think about it like this. You can wear them as pajama pants, so no harm, no foul. Cuddle Duds also has some great options for things you can wear underneath your shirts. So I wish I could do a big reveal and be like, I'm wearing one right now, but it's summer. I really regret doing that. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you, screw it. So again, you have like long sleeves. It's just really nice to have that extra layer. And even if it's not specifically designed for the cold, although I would recommend that, it's nice just to have 2 layers because the friction will create heat all day, so it's just nice to have. Finally, last thing I'd recommend is bring some envelopes. In your first few months in France, you may have to be sending documents to the CAF or to the academy, to the rectorat, and you can certainly buy envelopes over there, but you're not going to need that many. Like, it's really hard to find just 5 envelopes, just 10, so in your house right now, wherever you are, Just take a handful of these. They're so lightweight, they don't take up any space at all, and it's just really handful to have. While you're at it, take a few minutes and ask your parents or whoever it may be for addresses. Get that info now, and it'll just be so much easier when you want to send a pretty postcard. So there you have it, my 15 more things you might want to think about bringing. Remember, as you're packing, I hope my videos don't have the effect of making anybody think, oh my god, why am I forgetting this? Because it's so easy to overpack. I am always guilty of that. That being said, remember too, you can probably make restocks when you're actually over in France. If you heard anything on my list and thought, well, that's ridiculous, I'll get it over there. Yes, just get it over there. It's probably easier that way. I accidentally deleted the clip of me saying goodbye, so here's some stock footage, and in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you liked it.